So a surprise this October, we just got waves 3 and 4 from the Tales of the TMNT line from Playmates. This is their mix and match where you can mix these with the other characters we got from wave 1 and 2. Of course, wave 1 was the core 4 of the Turtles. Wave 2 featured a lot of the Mechazoids that were in that line. And then wave 3 and 4, we are going to start with the East River gang over here, and then some of the supporting heroes in new styles over here on this side. Not sure if these are officially 3 and 4 or if it's all just one big wave, because they're all dropping at the same time right now at Walmart and one of those big shippers they put out in the middle of the aisles. So we're going to get into this really quick. We got a lot of characters. We're not going to focus so much on the mixing and matching because we've done that with the other two lines. We're going to focus on what is new with these figures, what they come with, and how they compare to their counterparts, and some of them featuring some throwback designs to the vintage look as well. So why don't we just hop right in and start checking out these characters. Okay, we're going to start with Goldfin here. Of course, the East River gang, as we learned from the series, affected by the finale of the TMNT Mutant Mayhem movie. And they are going to come with a bunch of accessories, although they didn't really use any in the show. They were just kind of fought with themselves. The Goldfin had these little, I don't know, gills, or not gills, but like parts that came off his fin that he was able to throw. So you can see him here wearing his fisherman trunks and little sweater. His goldfish look on his face. Let's see how this guy balances, because he's got a huge head. Okay, pretty good. Comes with one of those sea anemone things. I don't think these are meant to be pulled apart and switched. I mean, you might be able to. It looks like you can take their heads off at least, but they're really tiny and they're not in scale with the other ones, so I don't know if you can mix and match these anemones, maybe among themselves. But it's kind of cool that they included the different anemones. You could fit them into this set as well. He's going to come with, looks like Raphael's leg here, and then I can't tell which arm because there's no specific markings on it, but he comes with a turtle arm. And I don't want to spend too much time on the mix and matching, but you know the concept where you could just kind of put him around this way with any of the pieces, and it looks like you're going to be able to do this with his head, with his body, with everything, although he is a lot shorter than the other figures, so this might prove a lot more difficult, especially with the legs when you try to mix and match a leg in here, because the legs are going to be a lot shorter or taller than the other characters. So I don't know how you would do this and have a character that could still function in terms of like walking or anything. For example, he comes with just the foot. I'm going to say this is Raphael's foot, but you see his little mini leg. If you did just the foot, you know, you can't really, he's not going to really be able to stand. So he's going to be kind of wobbly like that. So just something to consider there when you're mix and matching them. And maybe you don't mix and match them. Maybe you just like it the way they look without that component. And I think that's fine. I mean, he's a pretty good looking figure. Next up, we have Lee the Eel, who got picked on for that name because it's just so basic. Just the same name, forward and backward. Here we go. And Lee the Eel has that signature tail, that jacket that's on there, this little dress underneath. And then this nice long snout, eel-like snout. The accessory for Lee is some kind of, I don't know, gun, that electro blaster gun. I mean, Lee just had electricity, so Lee did not need any kind of, you know, functionality to herself here. So they just, you know, because accessories, just threw that one in there. Lee also comes with another one of the anemones there. And Lee comes with Leonardo's head. So you can switch that out, although that will look very weird on Lee considering Lee's size. And then Splinter's leg, which I think is another weird choice because Lee's legs are a little bit shorter, so it's going to be a little bit longer. So they're not quite, you know, mixing up, but just so you can get the point here of Leo's head, and which is not easy to go on. It just looks really weird, but that's kind of the point of the line, to mix and match these things up. But I think Lee looks pretty cool with this jacket. You can see the pegs here. I guess you could take the jacket off. Look at that. There's little pegs to help it rest on there, but since you could take the arms off, you could probably take the jacket off and really mix this one up. So the dress is part of the body mold here, but you can take the jacket off, which I think is pretty cool. I think the tail comes off. Yep, the tail comes off. So if you wanted to put a leg on there instead of a tail, you could really mix around with this one. But not bad. I think that's a pretty cool design to the figure. And last but not least, we have Mustang Sally, that seahorse convert here. Mustang Sally comes with what looks like a coral axe, so that's kind of cool. You get the last of the anemones there. This one's really tiny. And then you get this really cool looking Mustang Sally figure that is really secure in here. I miss these ones in the hand. So pardon me for a second while I try to sneak him out of here. Yeah, I'm just gonna rip the arms off while we do this. These are in here really good. So if you're displaying a package, which I don't understand why you would, it's gonna be really secure. Otherwise it's gonna be hard. I mean, we used to think when I was a kid, the rumor was these were to keep people from stealing them. I'm like, wouldn't they just take the whole package? It doesn't make any sense to me that they are concerned about them pulling them out of the package. But anyway, here we go. We have Mustang Sally, and Mustang Sally also includes a wingnut head. So it's a huge piece to include with just the arm there, but he could hold his little coral axe. We'll put that in there. I don't recall if he had any. He was really tough. I don't recall if he had any accessories, but he has his coral axe in there, his nice little jacket. Again, you could remove the jacket if you wanted to, and he just has that t-shirt underneath. We'll take the head off here to see what that looks like with the wingnut head. The wingnut head is angled just right. Wow, that's kind of a cool combination there with the jacket. So the wingnut head can be used there, and then he goes back to his normal self. So I think he's a pretty nice looking figure. Nice coloring on there, nice demeanor on his face, and he's got that tail too. So that is a nice, I think it's a nice set. Even whether or not you want to use it for the mix and match function, this is pretty cool to see the East River gang here with all their little anemone compatriots, and then the three of them side by side, all set up. So a nice set that you can grab from the whole wave right there. And even if you just wanted to display them like this, I think it works pretty well. So this is the East River gang. We'll call this Wave 3. And then we'll take a look in a second here at Wave 4 featuring the supporting Heroes cast. All right, another newcomer here. We got Pigeon Pete. I know a lot of people are excited about Pigeon Pete. He's going to have his little aviator goggles on there, his pigeon dew covered slice of pizza. Looks like he comes with a mech part from the first half of the season, and then Raphael's head. But Pigeon Pete himself looking pretty cool here. Let's see if we get those aviator goggles on. I like how this part right here is not attached. It's just laying loose on there. You could probably wiggle that off if you wanted to. His tail does not come off. He does have these really long legs. He has that great look here. So you see there's a divot here in the back of his head, and that little hole is so you can get the goggles to stay on his face because they are at a weird angle, and he's got those weird pigeon eyes that are kind of spaced apart unevenly there. And then if you're maneuvered on properly, you get those aviators on there, and he looks pretty slick. Not sure what the pizza slice covered in poo is supposed to be, but it's a fun little accessory for Pigeon Pete. So he does have hands that you could put some kind of weapon in. And like I said, you could always do the mix and match stuff where you're going to pull the leg out here and then pop in a robot leg. But you notice the disparity in the sizes. You're going to have to figure something out there, or angle him if you want him to stand. But just like all the other ones, he works exactly the same. So he is the new hero in this line. I think he's looking pretty sharp here with the jacket and the grenades and everything. He's all kitted out. It's a weird accessory, but kind of glad they included it. So that is Pigeon Pete. What I wanted to focus on is you're probably thinking, hey, I don't want Wingnut or Genghis because, you know, I already have him and there's nothing special about him. Well, this is what I'm going to show you where the differences are. So this is the Tales from the TMNT Wingnut. Now he looks nothing like, well, he doesn't look like his on-screen counterpart. His on-screen counterpart looks pretty close to the version from Mutant Mayhem. They didn't change it much. So this is the Mutant Mayhem release. And I'm going to show you where we differ here. And the biggest thing you probably noticed is that yellow belt on there as opposed to the one you had before, which I think is a great homage to the original release of Wingnut here, who had that yellow belt. And if you go back and look at our review from the TMNT, the Mutant Mayhem line from the first wave or two, you'll notice that the big changes or the big aspects they kept in there were some fun throwbacks to the vintage style Turtles, where they had the weapons and brackets, and they had some accessories that mimicked those old figures. So this looks like they're making their way around. Look, you see the dynamite on the side of the belt here, just like his dynamite. They're making their way back to some of those old school designs. He's got this rocket pack on the back. He didn't really have a booster pack on the back originally. This one just has this central turbine there. So the more metal aspect here is going back to the more metal aspect on the wing nut there. And you could even see in the wings here, as I try to figure out how to put these in because they go on a weird angle. The wings here have some metal pieces on them as well, and that looks more akin to the version of wing nut we have here. So that's kind of interesting. So they went back with that older design on it. So once you get them in here, you can see the wings have those metal aspects on them as opposed to being more organic like they did in the Mutant Mayhem figure. So he's looking a lot more like his counterpart here than he is the other counterpart. So I think that is just some kind of fun little styling they did with this figure, as opposed to giving you the same figure again that you had previously. And it looks like you could even take this off and then you have that little turbine there that he had originally. So that is, they kind of kept the same base, they just changed a bunch of the accessories on the figure here. So he comes with a larger harpoon gun, here, which is similar to the one he came with Mutant Mayhem. It just looks like a much larger version of it. You can see the one he has here. He didn't really have that in the original. It was more like a pistol. But he has a larger harpoon gun, and he also comes with some parts for mixing and matching. He comes with a Mechazoid head, which will be easy to pop on there, and he comes with Donatello's left arm. So again, two things you could easily do, but I think that is fun. Like, they changed him a little bit so he doesn't look exactly like the Mutant Mayhem one, and they brought in some design elements from the vintage Playmates figure here to make him look more sort of throwback-ish. So I think that was kind of fun too. They could have gave him the blue and gray. That would have been the next step too. I mean, they had a lot of those blue elements in his Mutant Mayhem design. So they could have did that with the yellow belt. I think that would have been fun. But I mean, this is precisely a nice little throwback to that style figure. So kind of fun, and I think it makes it worth getting him in that respect. And then the last one is Genghis, and Genghis is the more obvious throwback. I think it is awesome. So of course, in the series, Genghis looked pretty much on par with his design from Mutant Mayhem. This is pretty close to how he looked in the cartoon, and he had his little flicking tongue. And you can still get this guy on shelves. So instead of giving you the same thing again, Playmates redesigned the character. Of course, they gave him a Splinter arm and a Leo arm, or his switch parts. But look at these accessories. First, he's got his tongue blaster here that the original Genghis had. And we'll have the original Genghis over here in a second. He's got his little surfing bodyboard shield, which the original Genghis had. And then he has his throwback style outfit on here with his little Hawaiian with the flowers on it, his yellow shorts, the grenades on the belt, and those sunglasses, which were amazing. The tongue still retracts and goes in, but it's off to the side instead of out front this time, as you can see. And then by default, it's hanging out a little bit. Oh no, there we go. It goes all the way in. So very, very cool design to it. So here is the Playmates Genghis from the original style. With those difficult to put on sunglasses, very frustrating. They just never really stayed on the head. And he had that retracting tongue gun. That was his little thing here. If you get that to work, that just kind of like went out, went back in, went out. Yeah, it didn't hold together very well. He had grenades on the belt, but this was pretty much Genghis Frog. Could not get those sunglasses to stay on. Very weird and annoying, but that is the style of Genghis Frog. So you can see this great throwback to this character, but they painted the accessory this time. It doesn't function. You can't bring the tongue in and out. And the shield here, I think, just clips onto the arm like a boogie board would, as opposed to him being able to hold it behind. But I mean, look at that. That is such a fun throwback to that figure using the modern Mutant Mayhem design. But still capturing all those accessories and that look. And they made a huge improvement on the sunglasses because they put these little holes in the back so it will actually stay on the head this time instead of you trying to balance it on his weird frog head. So very cool. I think he's worth it just for that respect, to be able to have this sort of throwback styling of this cool character and have all his little fun accessories on there, but an improvement with the sunglasses. So, I mean, defer to you, but this is what you're missing out on if you dismiss Genghis as, like, I already have Genghis, so I don't think Genghis is worth it. I think he is worth it. Definitely worth it. His feet are going to come off. His hands are going to come off. Let's see if we get that head. Nope, that head is one piece, and it's probably because of that tongue mechanic, so they're not going to let that come off. But you can move the hands and the feet, so not too bad. But I think he's really cool, and I think he's worth it for that respect. So that's your look at the Genghises here. Of course, this is the more accurate one to the show, which is based on the movie look. But we get this fun new look for the figure in this line. Well, we hope this was helpful for you making a decision on what to get from Wave 3 and 4. Probably all of it. Really cool with these brand new figures added to the wave from the East River Gang with their little anemones. That was a fun addition to this. And then we have Pigeon Pete, which a lot of people are excited about to get. So we have Pigeon Pete with his little poop pizza there. And then we have these awesome throwback characters that are making homage to the original Playmates designs. 100% with Genghis here, and some aspects of it over here with Wingnut, as you saw. So they're really cool in that respect as well. On the back of the card, you're going to see they have the entire set now, all 4 waves. Unclear if we're going to have Wave 5. I'm not sure what would be in it since they have all the main characters. Maybe the other Mechazoids. I think we only got, this was number 4, so Mechazoid 1, 2, and 3 maybe could be in that wave. I don't know. And maybe April, and make that 4 characters and round that wave out. I don't know. We didn't see any more plans announced at this point. They might be holding on until season 2 in terms of producing more in the mix and match line. It's fun. Even without the mix and matching, you still have pretty solid characters with great articulation on that ball joint. So you could add these in with your Mutant Mayhem line. They fit in pretty well. So you don't need to worry about scaling or anything like that. So you could just continue that entire line until we get to the next movie. So that's all for this time. We're going to have more Turtles coming up very soon as well. We have some new products to show off, so we'll get to those. It's also Halloween, so tune in for our Halloween segments. As always, like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.